The Galactic Classification Bureau had never issued a Category Red designation before. In the 3,000 years since the consortium's founding, species had been catalogued across every conceivable threat spectrum, from the peaceful Category Green herbivores of Kepler 442b to the moderately concerning Category Orange predators of the Vega system. But Category Red? That classification existed only in theoretical frameworks, reserved for extinction-level planetary threats. Until now, Dr. Diana Martinez stared at the holographic display floating above her workstation aboard the research vessel Prometheus, her dark eyes reflecting the crimson warning symbols that pulsed ominously in the air. As the consortium's leading xenobiologist, she had been summoned to investigate reports of an anomalous species discovered in the Outer Rim territories. The preliminary data had been concerning enough to warrant an emergency session of the High Council. "The readings can't be accurate," she murmured, manipulating the data streams with practiced gestures. No single species could possess this combination of traits. Her research partner, Dr. Adnan Hassan, looked up from his own terminal where he'd been analyzing behavioral patterns. His usually calm demeanor showed cracks of genuine concern. "Diana, I've run the psychological profiles 17 times. The cognitive adaptability metrics are off the charts. These beings don't just learn from conflict, they evolve from it. The species in question called themselves humans, and they had emerged from a small blue world designated as Sol 3 in the outer spiral arm. For months, consortium scouts had been monitoring their rapid expansion into space, initially classifying them as a standard category yellow, notable but manageable. That assessment had changed dramatically when the first contact protocols were initiated." Diana pulled up the incident reports, each one more disturbing than the last. "Look at this pattern, Adnan. First contact with the Zephyrian trade delegation. The humans not only learned their language in 6 hours, but also identified 17 exploitable weaknesses in Zephyrian military doctrine." Adnan nodded grimly. "And the hegemony thought they could intimidate them with a show of force. 3 dreadnoughts, full battle formation. The humans surrendered immediately." Diana continued, scrolling through the tactical analysis. "The hegemony commanders thought they'd won easily. Then the humans asked to tour the ships as part of the cultural exchange. The aftermath had been swift and decisive. Within 48 hours, every hegemony vessel in the sector had been disabled by human-manufactured viruses that exploited previously unknown vulnerabilities in their computer systems. The humans had apologized profusely for the technical difficulties, while simultaneously offering to help repair the very systems they had sabotaged. "It's not just their tactical adaptability," Adnan said, highlighting another section of data. "Their psychological resilience is unprecedented. Most species retreat or surrender when faced with overwhelming odds. Humans seem to intensify." Diana recalled the reports from the Arcturus mining incident. A small human colony ship had been trapped in an asteroid field by consortium forces, completely surrounded with no hope of escape. Standard protocol suggested they would either surrender or fight desperately until destroyed. Instead, the humans had begun mining the asteroids around them, turning their prison into a fortress and their rocks into weapons. By the time consortium reinforcements arrived, the asteroid field had been transformed into a military installation that could have held off a full fleet. The psychological profiles suggest they view impossible situations as puzzles to be solved rather than defeats to be accepted, Adnan observed. Their stress response actually enhances cognitive function rather than impairing it. Diana brought up the final piece of evidence that had triggered the Category Red classification, the Mars terraforming project. Consortium scientists had observed humans attempting to transform their neighboring planet, a task that should have taken millennia with conventional technology. The humans had accomplished it in 50 years, not through advanced technology, but through sheer persistence and innovation born from necessity. They don't just adapt to their environment, Diana realized, the full implications hitting her. They adapt their environment to themselves, and when that fails, they adapt themselves to survive in conditions that would kill any other known species. The holographic display chimed, indicating an incoming priority transmission from the High Council. Council Prime Viridian's angular features appeared in the projection, his expression grave. Dr. Martinez, Dr. Hassan, have you completed your assessment? Diana exchanged a glance with Adnan before responding. Council Prime, our analysis confirms the preliminary findings. This species represents a paradigm shift in galactic dynamics. Explain, Adnan stepped forward. Council Prime, every species in the consortium has evolutionary advantages balanced by corresponding limitations. The Zephyrians have superior technology but poor adaptability. The hegemony has military strength but rigid thinking. Humans appear to have minimal inherent limitations while possessing maximal adaptability. They're not just survivors, Diana added. They're optimizers. Given any situation, they will find a way to not only survive but to thrive and improve their position. They treat every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Council Prime's expression grew more troubled. And your recommendation? Diana looked at the data one final time, considering the implications of her next words. The Category Red designation would mark humanity as the first species ever classified as a threat to galactic stability itself. It would trigger protocols designed to contain or eliminate extinction-level dangers. Council Prime, she said slowly, I recommend immediate reclassification from Category Red to Category Unknown. Category Unknown doesn't exist, Doctor. It does now. These humans aren't a threat to be contained or eliminated. They're a force of nature to be understood and, if possible, allied with. Any attempt to suppress or destroy them will likely result in exactly the kind of adaptive response we're trying to prevent. Adnan nodded in agreement. They've shown consistent preference for cooperation over conquest, but their defensive capabilities suggest that aggressive action against them would be inadvisable. Council Prime was silent for a long moment. You're suggesting we approach them as equals? I'm suggesting, Diana replied, that we approach them as what they are, the first species in galactic history that might actually be capable of surpassing us. The question isn't whether they'll spread throughout the galaxy, it's whether we'll be partners or obstacles in that process. The transmission ended, leaving Diana and Adnan alone with the implications of their recommendation. Somewhere in the depths of space, humanity continued its inexorable expansion, turning each challenge into a stepping stone toward a future that no one could predict. Diana turned back to her data, knowing that Category Red had been just the beginning. Humanity wasn't just another species to be cataloged and managed. They were a fundamental change in the galactic equation, one that would force every civilization to evolve or be left behind. The ultimate threat level wasn't what humanity posed to others, she realized. It was what they represented, the possibility that the established order of the galaxy was about to change forever.